We'll see how to create online tutor system, online tutor working system. Consider these are the tutors, and as a student I want to look for the subject. Let me see, I want the physics subject, or if I want chemistry subject, or I want to see all of them. I'll click on this filter, and I can also filter by experience. I want to look for the experience who has 10 years and above, or let's say who has 6 years and above, or if you want to list all, click on all. Now as a student I want to book a physics teacher, so I'll click on physics, and this teacher seems to be okay. Let me book a slot, so let's say 10 a.m. and if I click on book session, it will ask for the student name and the student number, and if I click on confirm, you will see the data says your session has been booked successfully. Now as an admin I would get the request of the student on this particular link. So the teacher Bella Sharma has a student called Vishal, and his number is this one, and he has booked a slot call on 10 a.m. So the teacher image also appears. So this is the complete WordPress list table. We have modified it to make a perfect view of who sent at what time, and the relevant teacher information. As an admin I want to add one more teacher. Let me click add teacher. So here the name of the teacher, let me choose Zoya Nair, and her experience is 5 year in biology, in teaching biology. Sorry, let me choose the image of her and click on set featured image, and once you make it as a publish, you can view them on the front page of the website. So you see Zoya Nair has arrived on this particular page, and and you can see based on the specialist, you have a specialist filter also available. Cool. Now as an admin you would be able to add a teacher. As a student you can book any one of this teacher, and this information would be stored on the WordPress backend. So just to give you an information, this is a custom post type that we have created for online tutors. All the information about the online tutor gets displayed here along with the meta box. So meta box is nothing but custom field in WordPress. So if I click on add teacher, you will see these two information are the meta box. So these information also available on the table. So we have modified this table in such a way it doesn't only show the title and the date, which WordPress usually does. We also added the featured image to be displayed, the experience to be displayed, and the subject to be displayed. So enough for the intro, and if you get into detail, let me just show you one more time. Custom post type and meta box. We have seen how to create a custom post type. So this is the custom post type of online tutor, and the meta box is actually the experience and the subject. So we have, and we will be customizing the WP list table for the teachers as and the bookings. So this is for the teachers and this is for the bookings that we have received. So this table is rich in data. By default it doesn't give this much information. We have modified in such a way so that we can get a complete view of who booked at what time and what teacher it is, and we'll see how to create an archive page. So this what you see here is actually an archive page. Whatever post type, whatever teacher you add in this page, whatever teacher you add in with this section, add post, so consider this as an add a tutor, and these information gets automatically populated on this particular page. You can see tutors on this particular archive page. So we'll see how to create this. Also the Ajax handling. So what happens is if I click on 4 p.m. and click on book session, and without page refresh you will see the data getting saved. So that's the work of Ajax. So you can see booked successfully without the page refresh, and those data can be viewed on the backend. Cool. Now for the first thing what we have to do is let's just deactivate the old plugin and create a new one. So deactivate it. So to make the plugin work, what we need to do is we need to have a folder inside your public folder, sorry, plugins folder. So what do I mean by that? I have locally set up my WordPress. So inside the plugins folder I need to create a folder. Let's say training is the plugin name, and I want to create a PHP file just to be close or just to be equal to your folder name. So here we have named the folder name as training, so let's just use the same name, training.php, and we want to list our plugin in this particular page, not here, which is on the WP list. So you can see this, I want to show my plugin on this page. To make this work, we have a PHP metadata in the form of comment. So we have to pass comment. So it will on online training booking, and the description and the version and the author. Now if I make a refresh, you will see that plugin would be available. If I click on active, as of now there is no code that executes any functions to see the effect. Now what happens is, once the plugin is active, I want to register a post type on the sidebar. So to do that, I will link my function to the init hook. So once the init hook called, I want this function would get called automatically, and I'm naming the post type, let's say training, and this is the label, and archive, in the sense we want all the posts that we created for this particular post type should have an archive page, so that we can list all of them. And then we have an icon, and then it's for the support, and then this is for the slug. We want a custom slug, so you can just say online training, and if you make a refresh, you will see the custom post type on the sidebar called online tutors. So if I click on add post, you will see the default title and featured image shows up because we have added the support. Now we want to add a metadata. So to do the metadata, we have a hook called meta boxes, and we need two input field. So since these two input field had to link to this CPT, we have to pass this CPT as well. And once we save, and if we refresh the page, the saved data should get persist. So for that, I am already calling the value. So even if the data is saved, if you refresh the page, it is going to display the value. Since this is custom post type, all the post information, or you can say all the relevant info linked meta box data, are stored in a table called WP post meta. So we have two tables, post and post meta. Post only holds important information like for the particular post, and the additional information called the the custom field that you create gets stored somewhere called post meta. So to query post meta, we have a function get post meta. We just need to pass the post ID and the relevant key. So this key has a value. The value that you enter through the input field get stored as a value for these two keys. Now if you refresh, you will get the meta box. Now since I said only the information which is important gets stored in the WP post, we have to manually make sure that these two added meta box gets linked or gets stored the information in the post meta. So for that, we have a hook. So if the hook is save post underscore online tutor is nothing but the CPT. So we have to replace this with our post type. And if the data persists through the global variable, super global variable of PHP, and then update the key accordingly based on the ID that we receive. Now if you refresh, and if I try one of the values, one of the teacher, let's say Oliva Mehta, which is 8 years of experience, and she's famous, she's specialist in mathematics, and this is her photo. And if I click on set featured image, you'll see publish. So let us add one more similarly. So even after page refresh, it stays because of get post meta function works perfectly. Now this is the Bella Sharma, the second teacher. She is specialized in teaching physics, and with 8 years of experience, and this is her image. So publish. So now we have two informations of the teacher. So if I click on online tutors, you will see those information, but with limited information on the table. Only the title and the published date shows up. So we want the table to be more informative. So for that, we have to make use of two functions. That the first function will define the column header, and the second function will define what the column headers data should be. So let's do that. So this function simply, so our CPT is training, and we have to just replace this with our training CPT, and these are the columns. So I want these three columns to be displayed on this particular table, and after that the relevant data can be retrieved, as you know, since these are the meta box data, and that will be stored in WP post meta, and we can access it with the help of get post meta as we have done here. So let's do that. We will be using switch case, and now you will see we just need to pass the CPT properly, replacing this placeholder, and then it's a switch case. If the column is image, if the column is thumbnail, if the column is experience, if the column is subject, based on the get post meta function works, and it will retrieve the information and display it over here. So we have image, we have the meta box, we have again like the meta box. Now it's time for the archive page. To create an archive page, we'll create a custom archive page, and we need to link it. So to link it, we'll be calling a hook called archive template, and we are checking whether the CPT is training. If the CPT is training, then you can simply call this custom page. I'm going to name it as archive training. Cool. Now it's just a loop. So in this loop, what we do is we'll just display all the whichever value that you'd see here in the table. The same data you'll see it in the archive page. It's very clear and straightforward. So for that, we have to make sure we are querying properly. We want the training CPT. So we will again fetch all subject. So we will fetch all the subject from the CPT, which is stored in the WP post meta, and I'm storing it in the form of array for subjects and for experience, so that we can have them on the filter. And now what we have is we have a container that will have the specialist loop and the filter for the sidebar. Sorry, we'll be displaying the experience, we'll be displaying the subject as in the sidebar, and these are the loops that displays the data as is seen in the WP list table. And let's just view. So by default it will not show up now because we have just registered the slug. So to make this work, we have to rewrite the URL. To rewrite URL, we just need to update the permalink. So once we update the permalink, the URL would get rewritten, and this post type will work now. Previously it was shown 404 error. Now you'll see it will work, because this is working because of this particular page. So not this page, but our page. So physics and mathematics is not working. Let me see. Maybe we haven't added the jQuery. So let's just add the jQuery here. Refresh this page and click on physics and click on mathematics. Click on all, so you can see both the values. Now it's simple jQuery. We don't have to give much importance to it. This function will simply add the active class, and this function will simply make this as actually a radio button. So the radio button is hidden, so whenever you click a label, the radio button will get triggered, and based on that the filter will work. And again, if someone clicks on book session, it will ask to select the slot first and book session. So this is the pop-up, and if I send something, I click on confirm, I'm creating a Ajax request. So you see, this is actually Ajax request. I'm getting all the values with the help of jQuery, and I am storing it into a key value pair, and I'm sending it to a Ajax. The Ajax here is admin-ajax.php. WordPress has a different way of handling Ajax requests. If it is important to have Ajax action attribute. So this is the key. So this request, what you send here through Ajax, will be added, will be manipulated, or will implement or integrate, whatever way you say. These requests needs some these requests you are sending through Ajax needs some response. So you can see response. So that response we are going to give through a hook, and that hook is simply should have the action. So if you see, if I select action, that action WPA underscore Ajax underscore the action. So one function is for the logged in user, the other function is for the non-logged in user. So we'll accept all the values which we have sent through Ajax and store it into a variable. And now what we are going to do is, instead of storing one booking information in a custom table, what we do is we'll create a custom post type itself. So the custom post type will be booking training data. So this is the custom post type that we need to create, and all the information which we have got through post super global variable will store it again in the post meta of this post. So this is again another post, and these are the again this post meta information that is going to saved in the WP post meta. Cool. Now we just need to register this post type, so so that we can see a submenu on the online tutor custom post type. So let's register the post type, so that the post type is actually this one. And again here we need to pass everything. Seems okay. Cool. Now since we have registered the custom post type, you have seen this. So what you see here is actually the CPT that you need to pass, so that WordPress understands this post type should be the submenu of online tutor. That's why we are linking this string to this show in UI field. So if I refresh, you will see the submenu in show in UI, it should be show in menu. So now you will see show in UI should be true, and show in menu. The problem was we should not have underscore, we should have hyphen. So that's only when it works. Now if I click on bookings, as of now I don't have any booking, so let me just make a booking of a particular teacher. So let's say who is of 8 years of experience, and again this is not, let me see, it is working because both of them have 8 years of experience. So let's choose physics, let's select a time slot, and the guy is this phone number. Click on continue, and you will get a message saying that book successfully, and the book data can be seen over here. Now again we need to make this table rich, since we have already done similarly we have done it on the same we have done it already, we'll just need to do it again. So we need the heading to be defined. So for that, let's define the heading, and let's define the data inside the heading, data or column or row for, so it's not working for some reason. So we are we have pasted the wrong table data, that's why it's not working. So this is the right CPT, replace this with our CPT. Cool. Now if I refresh, the data that we have entered displays here. So let's try adding a new tutor. Add tutor. The name, the subject, and the experience, teacher photo, publish, and on the front end you should see another teacher. Let's book her at 2 p.m. The name, the phone of the student, and those data can be viewed on the bookings link. For this tutor we have a customer, and this is his phone number, and the book time, and the image of the teacher. Cool. The scope of this video is done. Thank you so much for listening.